Can you really stop a tornado? The movie Twisters plays with this idea, and in a stunning finish, meteorologist Kate Cooper finds out. Twisters opens with a team of storm chasers in Oklahoma testing out a new method of dissipating tornadoes. The test fails, leaving Kate Cooper and Harvey the only survivors of the storm. 5 years later, Kate has moved to New York, where she works as a meteorologist, but Harvey convinces her to return to Oklahoma to help his Storm Power team track an extra intense tornado season. As they track storms, Kate, Harvey, and his business partner Scott develop a rivalry with a team of storm chasers led by the YouTube celebrity tornado wrangler Tyler Owens. Tyler takes an interest in Kate, and she eventually agrees to go with him to a rodeo. Alas, a violent tornado ruins this date, destroying the rodeo and much of the town. In the tragic aftermath, Kate and Harvey get in a fight, and Kate leaves the team to return to her childhood home. Tyler finds Kate, realizing he knew about her from reading about her award-winning middle school science project simulating tornadoes in a model town. She tells him about her traumatic past. Talking about how tornadoes are classified by the damage they leave behind, he encourages her to minimize that damage by not giving up her dreams.
We never had a chance.
You want one?
Tyler develops a computer model to simulate Kate's storm dispersal invention, and they figure out a fix for the previous failure, adding a chemical to turn more of the moisture into rain before absorbing it. Making up with Harvey and reuniting with Taylor's crew, Kate heads out to test his theory on one of the tornadoes. However, the tornado hits an oil refinery, setting it aflame and turning it into a genuine monster of a tornado. Kate and Tyler's crew head into town to help people get to safety. The townspeople take shelter in a movie theater. When Tyler gets stuck in the debris from a flipped streetcar, Kate and Harvey pull him out just before a water tower collapses, flooding the streets. When even the movie theater gets torn apart by the storm, Kate makes a bold decision to drive into the storm, release the new formula, and save the day. Her invention ultimately works, and she succeeds in stopping it. In the closing scenes, Kate heads to the airport to return to New York. Tyler tries to convince her to stay, to which she replies, "Maybe if you feel it, you should chase it." He decides to go with her into the airport, where all the flights are delayed due to inclement weather. The credits show that she keeps storm chasing with him.
If you feel it, chase it!
Kate's character arc at the heart of Twisters is one of returning to ambitions she had previously given up on, making up for a traumatic failure by giving her goals another go and then succeeding beyond her wildest dreams. With encouragement from friends, family, and a charismatic potential lover, her passion for studying extreme weather and her desire to help others ultimately win out over the sense of guilt and self-doubt that previously derailed her life path. Kate's a scientist heroine, and having to redo experiments with new adjustments is part of the scientific method. Though in her field of study, the stakes for failure are extreme. She can't undo the storm that killed her colleagues 5 years ago, but she can choose to face new storms with the same determination she had before.
She's the smartest person I know.
So, Kate's now successful tornado-killing formula completely changes the field of meteorology forever, right? Not so fast! Nobody actually saw her release the formula while she was driving alone into the storm. As Harvey points out to Kate on their ride to the airport, other people aren't going to believe her story. Other meteorologists are likely to attribute the tornadoes suddenly dying out to various other environmental conditions. For instance, a refinery accident that made it grow in size could also theoretically have caused it to fade away soon after. Genre considerations prevent Kate from truly saving the world. Her invention is a science fiction element in a film that is otherwise trying to ground itself in science fact, and showing this invention changing the world at large would push the story and any potential sequels further away from that semblance of reality into a more speculative realm. Besides, if they are going to be more Twisters movies, having a device at the ready that shuts tornadoes down won't exactly make for great drama. Still, even if people don't believe the story of how she did it, Kate is happy to have saved the town and to have faced her greatest fears. Twisters upping the stakes from the first Twister isn't merely following the same threat but bigger sequel playbook. It's reflecting the reality of natural disasters growing more frequent and more extreme in the face of climate change. The filmmakers have discussed climate change as one of the film's major themes a lot in the press. But curiously, the phrase climate change is not uttered once in the film itself. Not that Twisters needs to say those exact words to make its point. When Kate's mom talks about worsening weather conditions, it will feel familiar to viewers whose lives are already impacted affected by climate disasters, and the visual metaphor of an oil refinery transforming an already strong tornado into a flaming monstrosity isn't exactly subtle in its environmental symbolism. Director Lee Isaac Chung told CNN that he avoided saying climate change in the film, so it wouldn't seem like the film was trying to communicate a message. That the acknowledgement of the factual phenomenon of climate change is so politicized as to be deemed a message is its own can of worms. But the ambiguity of language used in the script can also be defended on the grounds of there being scientific uncertainty about the specific nature of the connections between climate change and tornadoes. The changing climate is impacting the weather conditions by which tornadoes are most likely to form, but from there, the cause and effect requires more study.
She's perfect!
She's gorgeous!
When Twister came out in 1996, the mix of practical effects and innovative computer-generated effects was the big selling point. Twister had a wild production, and more of those Twister scenes happened on camera than you'd expect. Twisters contains much more impressive CGI, but with such effects now commonplace, what is most striking about the new film's disaster sequences is how they meld the digital storms with real locations. Daisy Edgar Jones spoke about the experience of performing the film's big climactic stunts in an interview with Variety, saying, "It felt like being in a theme park." While the falling water tower is clearly a CGI visual, the water that floods out after it falls is all real, she revealed, along with the chandeliers falling when the movie theater gets blown apart. When asked if she got any injuries amidst all the potential danger during these practical effects sequences, Edgar Jones answered, "No, just really bad hair. I had a lot of stuff in my ears because things would blow in there. They would have to give me these weird eardrops and fizz out all the dirt." The use of the movie theater in the final act of Twisters is an homage to the drive-in sequence in the original Twister, down to the usage of a horror movie playing. Instead of Jack Nicholson's Jack Torrance swinging his axe in The Shining as the screen blows away, now it's Colin Clive's Dr. Henry Frankenstein from the 1931 Frankenstein film, screaming his iconic line as the theater gets torn apart by the storm.
It's alive! Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
But the use of the movie theater in the climax is not just a cute reference, it's emblematic of the film's very purpose. Speaking to IndieWire, Lee Isaac Chung explained his meta-intentions for making a movie theater the place of refuge, stating, "From the start, the design of that theater and the size of the screen and the special effects and the stunts happening in that sequence, I had in mind that people would be sitting in their seats watching this thing happen." As of this video, nobody knows if there will be more Twister movies, and even if a sequel is to happen, nobody knows when it would come out and what that sequel would look like. 28 years passed between Twister and Twisters, and both movies tell separate standalone stories connected mainly by subject matter. Since Hollywood in the 2020s is more IP-driven than it was in the 1990s, huge box office results for Twisters could easily lead to a much shorter wait for a third film. Such a sequel would likely go one of two routes. It could tell yet another standalone story about a different set of Storm Chaser characters, or it could be a direct sequel to Twisters and continue Kate and Tyler's adventures together. There's enough chance it could even tie in characters from the first Twister, though such an idea has been rejected before. Helen Hunt wanted to make a Twister sequel where her character, Dr. Joe Harding, would die in the opening scene before introducing a new diverse cast. For her part, Daisy Edgar Jones is open to reprising the role of Kate if she's given a good script for such a sequel. As she told Variety, "I love that world of storm chasing. I think it would be fun to see what they could do next." It's unknown whether we'll ever see an alternate cut of the Twisters ending, but it appears at least one major detail got changed between filming the airport scene and editing the final product. Photos from the set have leaked onto social media platforms that show Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell kissing in the airport. No such kiss appears in the finished film, which instead fades to black just as Kate and Tyler look at each other as if they're about to kiss. Given the airport scene is already playing in the realm of rom-com cheese, including this kiss would have fit the tone. Was this change a decision to center the focus on Kate and Tyler's professional partnership as opposed to their romantic one? It's hard to say, but expect some theatergoers to be disappointed in the lack of romance between the two incredibly attractive leads of Twisters.